Okay. Welcome to the evening session of the City Council meeting. The meeting is now called to order. I'd like to ask the City Clerk to call the roll.
All council members are present.
Fantastic. Would you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a brief moment of silence afterwards? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Staff, do you have any agenda changes?
No, sir.
Council, any agenda changes? At this time, any person may address a matter within the jurisdiction of the City Council, Housing Authority, successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency that is not on the agenda. Comments relating to items on today's agenda are to be taken at the time that the item is heard. State law prohibits discussion or action on items not on the agenda. However, council, authority, and agency members may briefly respond to statements or questions, and an item may be placed on a future agenda. Angela, do we have any cards under public comment?
Yes, sir. We have 3 speakers. The first one is Gerda Govin Etuarte.
Hello, welcome.
Good evening. I'm a poet, and my name is Gerda Govini Tuarte, and I will be in an exhibit at El Gatito down the street, 10 minutes from here. And what I wanted to do tonight was to offer you a gift of a poem.
You know what? That is so cool. I think that's never happened as long as I've been here.
Well, it happened in Pasadena, and it happened in Escondido, and those are 2 places where I've read my poetry through an exhibit. So I try to come before, and the other reason I'm here is to invite you to that particular exhibit, and the owner of that gallery is also with me tonight.
Well, that's, you know what, you can turn the time off. Art shouldn't be had a time constraint.
Well,
please,
my poems are very short.
Please
Okay.
read us your poems.
Thank you very much. Library surprise. Musky scent chokes air. Ancestors wait. Layers of quietness float in rafters. Ancestors feel. Lonely eyes listen for staccato footsteps. Ancestors watch. Telescopic eyes scan titles. Ancestors smile. Thirst wrestles ravenous appetite. Ancestors drink. Tongue holds silent words. Ancestors speak. And I consider myself to be a citizen poet. And my dream is to be able to read at city council meetings all over this country, because nobody else is doing it. So maybe I can have a spark. But I want to thank all of you for listening. It's a real pleasure to be here. And Tara will give you some more information.
Do you mind doing one more?
I don't mind at all. Thought you'd never ask. Okay. This is a poem I wrote about my husband. He still blushes, but it's a clean poem. Sometimes I observe him when he's painting. I love when he's in paint mode. Colors come out to play. Red, blue, yellow, orange, purple, green. Stands close to canvas, almost cross-eyed. Takes step back, forward, sips coffee, stares intently. First round, second round, third round, fourth round. Defining, refining, crafting. He says to me, "Do you think I'm finished?" I say to him, "Do you think you're finished?" Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Our next speaker is Tara Cardenas.
Hi, welcome.
Well, your warm welcome makes my coming up here much easier.
Good.
My name is Tara Slatin Cardenas, and I'm the owner of the gallery, El Gatito Gallery. It's right, hop, skip, and a jump right down the Arts Alley. I open onto the alley and out onto Main Street. And I'm here because I would like to invite council members, city officials, whoever would like to come to the reception, the opening, and be aware, and if they're not, of how much of a little art community is going on there, and to also have you be aware of the Alley Cat Art Walk and invite you to it. That's coming up in September. So I have cards here for the reception for my gallery and cards also for them.
If you give it to the city clerk, she'll make sure that all the council members get one.
Okay, and I'd like to also read a poem,
Please.
if that's okay.
This may be the new requirement. If the guys from Mazda don't have a poem, they can go home.
Yes, before you can speak, you must read a poem. So this is for my mother about her property. I write a lot of poems about her gardening, mostly. Such a beautiful garden exists, and through it pathways twist and turn as bees and butterflies yearn and so persist. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great.
Our last speaker is Corey Covington.
Hey, Corey, welcome.
Hello. That's a hard act to follow, you two. Hello, everybody. I haven't been here in a while. Last time I was here, I was raising the question of the one-time bonuses. I don't know if you remember that.
That was a long
and you
time
got
ago.
on me about, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And so whenever I read something in the news that catches my attention, I have to show up and challenge.
Sure.
Right? And so I'm not here to cause problems, but I am a active citizen, and I care about the city I live in. And I'm a homeowner also, so sometimes I don't want you to think I'm a renter. I want to tell you I'm a homeowner, so I pay property taxes. So I had some questions for you guys about some progress on some certain issues around town, and I was hoping I could kind of get some feedback. And then the last one's for you, Mayor. It'll be kind of cute. Hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Is it a poem?
Not a poem.
Then you gotta
But
go.
I could come up with one off the top of my head.
You're going to have to do something,
I could.
or we can't let you speak.
No. Well, we'll get to that. Okay, homelessness. I want to ask you guys about the progress of that. Last time I was looking online, I was seeing that you guys had hired somebody, one person, which I thought was kind of curious. I was wondering about the progress of the homeless issue here in town, since we know it's kind of bad. A couple weeks ago, I was driving past Wells Park over here, and I was going, my God, it reminds me of the People's Park up in Berkeley. And so I don't know if the homeless advocate or worker or whoever the person is here, or maybe Mayor, you could, or somebody on the council could speak to that, about the progress of that. And have you been able to cut into it, not cut into it, the different challenges, what have you?
Why don't you go ahead and ask all your questions, and we'll take them
And
as
you
they
go
come. Yeah.
on? Okay. 2, I was reading, and I take it you're the new police chief. Welcome. Now, he seems like a nice guy, warm and wonderful face, lovely smile. Now, though, but I was surprised that we had a new police chief. I was reading this, and I didn't know there was a selection process, how it all happened. All I know is we got this new guy. They say you're a wonderful person, so I don't want you to take this personally. But I wanted to know, how did this process happen? The reason why is because a couple years ago down in San Diego, they picked a new police chief. And I felt like it was kind of an in-house thing. They did go a national search, but they ended up picking like the second in command. And so my issue is I always want to feel like it's open to anybody who's interested or has the qualifications to do that. So I was wondering about how that all occurred, and if it was put out to the public or not, or was it kind of in-house thing. So that's the second thing. 3, I don't know if you guys deal with this or if this is another agency, but I just had to bring it up, as I said, when I get to reading. The fire chief, whoever the fire chief is, and I doubt the fire chief is here, I was reading that they got $75,000 in overtime. And I was going, my God, that's a sweet deal. So I figure if the person is making 6 figures, being the fire chief, So you figure 150 to 200,000 probably to be a fire chief of a city, and then on top of that, $75,000. You're talking almost close to rounded off, but almost $300,000 give or take. So I was wondering, how did that happen? And if a person is in management, salaried, how can they get overtime on top of that? Because once again, I'm a homeowner, those taxes, and is it going to somebody who's making a good living and kind of padding their salary? So I was kind of concerned about that. 4, citizen participation. I noticed here, last time I was here, I think it was the previous city manager, and we were discussing about an issue, and they were saying to me, well, we decide what we feel is best for the city. Now, I'm a person who believes in direct democracy versus indirect, where you have a representative make the decisions for you, and you assume that you're doing it in your best interest. So I was hoping, you could tell me, are there any things for citizens, such as myself or anybody else, who wants to be more active in their city government, committees or what have you? Mm-hmm. Are there opportunities like that? Because I wasn't aware of that here in town. And number 5, housing plans. I know you guys had done some redistricting or whatever of some stuff around here, and so I was wondering what was the progress on that. And last, I had one more, but I'll skip that. Well, no, I do want to bring that up. Jobs. I want to know about the job outlook out here. Last time I was here, I brought up an issue about jobs versus careers here in El Cajon. I noticed you guys did do the retail thing up there with In-N-Out and the stuff up there. That's wonderful. But that is low-wage jobs. And I was wondering, what are we doing to bring careers out here to El Cajon? Is there any high-tech out here? Anything like progressive happening?
You've asked a lot of questions.
And I got one more. I'm going, by the way. And the last one's for you.
Okay.
Perfect timing. I was looking on TV one morning. I saw a guy look familiar, and it was you, Mayor. It was on Fox 5 in the morning, and you were playing, I believe, the saxophone. Am I correct?
You don't want to complain
clarinet or
about,
saxophone?
Are you going to complain about that?
No, I'm just saying. That was you, right? Was it clarinet or saxophone?
It's sax, tenor sax. Yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering. Now, see, I'm ending this on a high note because some of you guys are getting kind of tense in the face, especially you. Okay, I was saying, when's the next time you're going to do something for the public where you play your instrument for us all to see? It was kind of a Bill Clinton moment.
I'll do it again, sure. I played piano this morning at the.
You multiple instruments, eh?
Yeah.
Learn something new.
I appreciate you asking. I'm going to make sure I tell my wife that somebody from the public demanded this. So
yes, please do. So,
let me answer some of your questions, guys. Feel free to jump in and help me. Remind me, the first one again was homelessness.
Yes.
So homelessness is something we take incredibly seriously.
Okay.
It's probably the biggest issue that any of us talk about. We think about it all the time. We work with staff all the time. We spend a tremendous amount of money and time and effort working on homelessness. Okay. Having said that, it's a difficult problem in every city in California. So what we're doing about it is we've got lots of ways for people to get help. We sponsor the East County Transitional Living Center, which has, how many people have gotten off the streets with grant from East County Transitional Living Center? Do you?
Is that the center down here on Main that they're just opening?
Yes, it's on Main Street. Just this afternoon, we got a. He's going to think about that. And just this afternoon, we got an update on our program that helps people get reunited with old family members. So sometimes people come out here from other states and they've left their family behind. They don't know how to get reconnected. And I think we've reunited 52 families as a result of that program.
That's good. That's positive.
You're looking at Wells Park, and certainly we do have a big homeless problem there, but you also notice that we put all new fencing around there, and we're putting all new lights in. We hired 2 park rangers to make sure that the park stays safe and clean, and that it's a place for kids to play. So we're certainly working on the Wells Park issue. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Yeah.
You could pull up on the website our earlier meeting this afternoon and see a good demonstration on how we've helped eliminate some homeless, and not eliminate them, but helped them get into homes, as well as transitioning to back to their families wherever they came from. And so there were a lot of lot of information on that earlier 3 o'clock meeting. You can pull it up on the internet.
Okay.
City of El Cajon, go to the meetings, and then it's on the web, and you can just watch it.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
But that would give you a good explanation of what has been done and what's going on with the homeless situation.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, at the East County Transitional Living Center, they just celebrated their 10th anniversary this last Sunday. There are 48 families living there as about 2 months ago, and 148 children that used to be, most of them used to be homeless, and I think it's about 100 single men out there. And we spend more on homelessness than all the other East County cities combined.
Okay.
As far as housing goes, I believe they're building 600 new houses this year, and that's on top of 2 new hotels, and which also bring jobs. As far as low-income housing, I believe there's the veterans housing that's
70 units going almost done right now. So
that's a low-income housing for veterans.
Okay.
That's coming up right now. So we're definitely working on that problem and doing what we can. You know, it's a little interesting sometimes because people oftentimes say, you know, what are you doing to build houses? And the truth is we don't build houses. Private industry builds houses, but we try to make it a nice environment for people to come in and get past all the obstacles so they can build houses. So we work with people as much as we can to get them to come out here and build houses and bring jobs.
I would like to ask you, okay, I lost the wording earlier, but when you were talking the zoning, now I was here a while ago and you guys did the rezoning up here on Ballantyne, I believe, right? Up here around Broadway?
I don't remember that. Is it?
Yeah, the future plans to build some housing or possibly some eminent domaining up that way?
No, I don't believe we're doing any eminent domain up there. Or
Rezoning?
anywhere right now. I can't think of it.
I came to a hearing.
What's that?
I came to a hearing.
It was probably closer to Broadway. We did build about 17 homes down there, I believe, not too long
I
ago.
don't remember doing it in a domain.
Yeah.
No, I'm bringing up eminent domain. Maybe I jumped the gun. But as I said, I thought you guys had done some rezoning.
We talked about homelessness and housing. What was the other? And
We can go police chief.
the chiefs.
Fire chief, and the 75,000.
so the way we hire police chiefs is that decision is actually made by our city manager, and that's an agreement that we enter into of a balance of power. We can hire and fire the city manager, and we can hire and fire the city attorney. But we give the city manager the power to hire and fire anybody else. And there's a reason for that. The reason that is they don't want city council members going into the staff and putting people in positions where they can just say Steve Goebel goes in and fires somebody, and then I come in and hire somebody. There'd be chaos. So we have to have somebody who's in charge of that, and that's the city manager.
Right.
So the city manager made the decision about hiring the police chief. We all agreed on that decision. It was a good one. And very often, especially in smaller departments, we try to hire from within the ranks because it's really demoralizing to people that they've put 25, 30 years into a department, and then we go outside and we basically say we don't think anybody here in the department can do the job. And so if we have a good candidate, we're going to try to hire from within.
Okay, that's fine, but okay.
The $75,000 was probably paid to, not the chief, but to other firemen.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So typically a fire chief does not earn overtime. There's one exception. So when
This one?
there's a large fire, like what was happening in Northern California, and the state of California mobilizes fire units from all over the state, we will usually send people. So we send fire crews. It's usually lower-level staff, firefighters, engineers, captains. But there are occasions where an expertise is needed. Our fire chief happens to have an expertise in urban rescue. And so he was called up by the state of California under mutual aid, and then any additional compensation he got was actually paid, reimbursed by the state of California. So it didn't cost us anything, but the state of California needed him. He worked 18-hour shifts during that period of time. So there has to be a compensation for that. But it's not typical the case.
I'd like to talk about jobs.
Yeah, please.
Jobs. Jobs.
One moment. Can I go back to that for
Well,
one moment? Is that city manager?
It's up to the
Something?
mayor.
Is that possible? I'm
Let's
sorry.
if we go quick. We
No, I know. I'm
spent a lot
over
of
the
time
3 minutes or whatever.
Mr. Mayor, I'd recommend
Would
getting
you,
into
after the meeting, you want to
dialogue.
explain to me?
If this resident would like to meet with me afterward, I would give him all my time.
I'd like to have 15 seconds for jobs, if I could.
please.
Okay, go ahead.
Out on Marshall, they're building some brand new industrial buildings. There's a Fortune 1000 company coming to bring fantastic industrial jobs. My second opinion or comment on jobs is turn around and look at the 5 gentlemen behind you. They're proposing to build a Mazda dealership. Those are not anything but
I'm sorry.
perfectly
what are they
career
building?
jobs.
Are you gentlemen?
Our
y'all take
dealership.
it?
A Mazda dealership.
Oh, the Maz. Okay, yes.
Those
that
are
was in the
highly
news.
professional trained jobs, and
Okay.
and there's another great example of people wanting to come to El Cajon.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. We gotta move on, but
You did not hit citizen participation.
what was the? Yes,
Committees or anything like that?
That's an easy question. There are lots of opportunities to be involved in different commissions. We have Planning Commission, we have Employment Commission, we have Veterans Commission, lots of ways for people to get involved and help. But what I suggest is you take Graham up on his offer, come out and meet with him. If you'd like to have coffee with me sometime, I'd be glad to meet with you.
I couldn't get past your secretary.
Well, I'll tell Graham to make sure that you do. And if you leave your number, I'll give you a call.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up, sir. I
Are
appreciate
you a
it.
veteran?
I'm not a veteran. I am just a local boy who cares about his community.
I do appreciate
Okay.
your involvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is that the end of that?
No more cards?
Okay, thank you so much. All right. We have an administrative report on tonight's agenda. Item 1 is in reference to the transition of El Cajon Veterans Commission. I'll ask staff to tell us about this one, please.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. I've asked Kylie Grunstad, our chair of our El Cajon Veterans Commission, to join me up here just to have a brief conversation. So the El Cajon Veterans Commission was created back in May 2013 by the City Council. At that time, we had more than 10 applicants that actually did apply. It was met with great fanfare. There's a lot of excitement about it. We did engage with the 501c19s, Veteran Service Organizations here in El Cajon City proper. So not only the American Legion Post 303, but the other four organizations at the 136 North Chambers address. So you have the Marine Corps League Detachment, the Fleet Reserve Association, AMVETS, and Veterans of Foreign Wars, all based out of there. There was a very diverse group, our first Veterans Commission. We actually did a lot in a very short period of time. We had a suicide prevention workshop, recognizing at that time 22 veterans commit suicide a day. But beyond that, those new numbers are down to 21. We also coordinated and continue to coordinate a Veterans Day celebration. Lots of input and contact with America on Main Street. Every Kaboom playground we've done, the Veterans Commission has been involved with it. Our very first Kaboom playground at Bostonia in November 2013. I know Councilmember McClellan was there cutting the ribbon. It actually had a veteran requirement, so American Legion Post 303 was heavily involved, as well as the Veterans Commission. And more recently, in the last 3 years, they've created the Veteran of the Year Award. It's also very well celebrated and recognized throughout not only the city, but through the county. The commission has also seen a lull in terms of people wanting to be involved with it. There are several reasons for that. There's a 4-year commitment. There's also, well, if I didn't get it my first time applying, why should I apply again type of viewpoint. Some of the individuals at the Veterans Hall on 136 North Chambers, there was some disagreement with some past Veterans Commissioners. So we as a consolidated group, city staff working with the Veterans Commission, looked at some options. The last 2 rounds that we had for applicants being on the Veterans Commission, we've only had 1 applicant for each position. We still have 1 position that has been open for 2.5 years. And this, I would compare this very similarly, as I wrote in the staff report, that we had a youth advisory commission in the early 2000s, and then in 2005, city staff brought back saying we have an issue. We're having a difficulty retaining youth on this commission. We need to change it to something a little bit different to meet that community's needs. So they created Teen Coalition, and you see them present before you once or twice a year with the Youth of the Year Award and some other functions that they also participate in. So looking at that success and that transition, we'd be looking at modeling that to creating a Veterans Coalition. With that, it would be input from the current Veterans Commission on how that would be created. It would be the city manager or his or her designee would actually do the appointments of that, and there wouldn't be as many restrictions on the Veterans Commission as it would, or on a Veterans Coalition as it would be on the Veterans Coalition. I don't know if the chair would like to see any other remarks.
Yes, the commission has discussed this a couple of times. We are in full support as a commission of the Veterans Coalition. I have been by the Chambers Street Veterans facility multiple times and have talked to a lot of veterans. They're interested in this. This is something that garnered some attention when I mentioned it. I did bring up the Veterans Commission, and quite honestly, as Frank just mentioned, I did get some mixed answers on how they felt about that. I do feel that we would have a better chance at more traction when it comes to participation and veteran engagement if we were to move to a coalition as opposed to a commission. Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming and bringing it to our attention. Angela, do we have any speaker cards on this?
No cards, sir.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I'll call you back if we need to speak to you some more. All right, I'll leave it to council. It sounds, I'm of the mind if this is what suits the veterans better, I have no problem with them having exactly what they want.
Right. Yeah.
That's scary.
I'll move that the City Council approve the concept of a City of El Cajon Veterans Coalition to replace the existing City of El Cajon Veterans Commission and direct the City Attorney to return with an ordinance amending Chapter 2.24 of the El Cajon Municipal Code, repealing Section 2.24.400, 2.24.410, and 2.24.420.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded, please vote.
Motion carries by a unanimous vote.
Gentlemen, thank you, and thank you, sir, for your service, not only in the armed forces, but for our local veterans. Thanks. All right, we are now at public hearings. Item 100 is for the new Mazda dealership, and staff will tell us about this.
All right, Mayor, there we go. So thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the proposal for a new Mazda dealership. This went before the Planning Commission, and we're asking the City Council to conduct a public hearing and then adopt the resolution approving a CEQA exemption for the project, as well as adopt a resolution approving the amendment to the existing conditional use permit that governs the Kia dealership, and then adopt a resolution approving a new CUP 2253, and then also authorizing the agreement and approving the agreement, the tax sharing operating agreement with the Mazda dealership. So just a little bit of background. Conditional use permit 1383 authorized the Kia dealership, which is located on the east side of North Johnson. Back in 2015, it was amended to allow for an expansion to the west side of North Johnson, and Kia had used the west property for additional vehicle display and storage. So here's just a quick look at the property, a quick image. The site is on the west side of Johnson. It's just south of Interstate 8, right adjacent to the Johnson Avenue off-ramp. The project consists of a new 18,500 square foot two-story building, which will include a showroom, service base, and parts and offices. The proposed dealership is consistent with the zoning, the general plan, and the governing specific plan for the area, which implements special development area number 10. The site's a little over acre and a half. As I said, it serves currently as a parking lot for a Kia vehicle display. It is bordered by Interstate 8 and a city drainage channel on the west. There's also a city easement preserved on the property for the city's use for a future sign. Here's a site plan indicating how the property will be laid out. The new dealership building will be located to the south. Vehicle display will be somewhat on the front, but primarily up on the north end. And vehicle parking, et cetera, will kind of wrap around the property on the perimeter. The building has a contemporary architectural design. It's primarily a concrete masonry with series of horizontal and vertical metal panels. There's a lot of glazing up front, so it's really kind of this open feel to it from Johnson Avenue. The proposed color palette consists of white, gray, and black. It's a very clean-looking design, and it kind of mimics a bit like the new Mercedes over there on North Marshall. MASA plans to commence construction on this new facility later this year. They look to invest approximately $7 million in the construction of the project. And given the current market and the cost of construction today, MASA is seeking a little city assistance to bridge a financial gap to make the project complete and make it possible. Staff believes that this is an important project for the city's economic health. The proposed tax sales agreement commits the city to sharing a net increase in sales tax revenue with the owner in the amount of 50% of the net regular sales tax from the site generated during a 5-year period in excess of $325,000. And it will go up to 75% of net increase in, if sales from the site exceed $450,000. Of course, there's also expected additional revenues from building permit fees and new property tax after the construction of the new dealership. The Planning Commission recommended approval to the City Council on July 16th. And the proposed dealership, we believe, will help implement special development area number 10 and enhance the economic value of the city. Staff's recommendation is that the City Council approve the Mazda dealership subject to conditions, and then follow the recommendation for the project on the slide before you. Staff is available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Tony. Just for clarification, the sales tax sharing will only be after a certain threshold is met, right?
That's correct. You have to hit a threshold of $325,000 before the tax sharing agreement goes into effect.
And then is it retroactive to that 325, or is it anything above and beyond the 325?
City manager can answer that, but I believe it's anything above 325.
So everything above 325, the city and Mazda would share the additional amount over 325, a 50-50 split over the 5-year period. That explains.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Questions? Bob?
You going to have an elevator to get that car up on the second floor? Lift, okay.
Other questions? All right, let's see if there's any speaker cards on this.
No cards, sir.
All right, well, I have to go through the process of closing the public hearing, so I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Okay, council, we can talk about it ourselves. We can have representatives from Mazda come up and answer questions if you'd like.
I think this is pretty straightforward. This is a win-win for everybody. We've done things like this in the past, and everybody has benefited.
The Kia dealership has always been a great neighbor of ours. And they've done a lot for the community, and I think they're going to do, I'm assuming that they're going to be very successful. Well, would somebody like to make a motion then? Or Steve?
Comment. The public might ask, why are we sharing in sales tax revenue? And the answer to me is when the state did away with redevelopment agencies, that took away some of the city's ability to help improve the value of properties in the city and took away those funds. And we have done this with other automobile dealers as well, this sales tax thing. So the reason why I support the sales tax sharing agreement is because it's similar to redevelopment. They're not only bringing good career jobs to El Cajon, but they're improving the value of the property in El Cajon, the district, the whole concept of El Cajon being a destination for car dealerships. So I think it's appropriate that we share sales tax to help bridge some of the construction costs, which in today's world are getting higher and higher because the demand for labor and construction materials is just getting higher and higher. So for that reason, I support the sales tax sharing agreement and the project as a whole. Time is money. The faster we can get this in your hands and going, the better.
You bring up a good point, Steve. We do need to explain to people why we're doing it. And I think one thing that people might not understand is the reason we set that threshold at $325,000 was because that is the level that the current dealership was bringing in, the expected revenue. So when we are sharing in the profits, it's because the Mazda is investing more money to get past that, to bring in more money. And so anything above and beyond that 325 is a bonus for us. So it makes sense for us to give them incentive to spend their money here as opposed to somewhere else and share that additional revenue. But I know a lot of times people don't understand that.
Not only that, there'll be a lot of sale or property tax that comes to the city as a result of this. Mm-hmm. And we're not sharing in that apparently. So I think it's a win-win for the city of El Cajon and for the dealership.
I agree.
I'll make a motion. Morgan, do I have to read all three? Do I have to be separate?
Yeah, I'd like you to handle them separately, please.
Okay. Move to adopt the next resolution order approving CEQA exemption.
Second.
Move and second, please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
I'll move to adopt the next resolution in order approving amendment to conditional use permit number 1383.
Second.
Please vote.
Move to adopt the next resolution.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to reset the vote on that one, please. Just 1 second.
Please vote again.
Please vote. Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Move to adopt the next resolution in order approving conditional use permit number 2253.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Move to approve the tax share operating agreement authorizing the city manager to execute on behalf of the city.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Gentlemen, congratulations. Thank you very much. We look forward to when will construction begin?
Well, if you'll help us.
You mean actually want me to swing a hammer and?
We're going to go in for permit here in a couple of weeks, and then once we get the permit, we'll be ready to get going.
Excellent. All right. We look forward to seeing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go sell lots of cars.
And this brings us to the adjournment. The adjourned regular joint meeting of the El Cajon City Council, El Cajon Housing Authority, successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency, held this 13th day of August 2019, is adjourned until Tuesday, September 10th, 2019 at 3 o'clock p.m. Thank you.